What you just heard is my core sound. At the base there's usually a Marshall plexi and a cabinet loaded with Greenback speakers. I've got a 50 watt plexi with a 4x12 cabinet that's usually set up for band rehearsal and which I also use for bigger shows. But that of course is not suitable for every gig. For the average gig I use my small Marshall plexi with the Zilla cabinet that you usually hear and see on my channel. That cabinet has a 70th anniversary H Greenback at the bottom and a regular M Greenback at the top. These speakers are slightly angled so they project more towards my ears. I can use it with an open or closed back and it's not too heavy. Still, there are shows where this might even be too much, for different reasons. I always have to use an attenuator when using any of my plexis, and that means carrying some extra luggage around. And sometimes there's just not enough time or space to bring the big or even the medium guns and you have to go smaller. And if you have been watching my recent videos, I know what you might be thinking. I recently tested cheap tube combos and the Vox came out on top for me. That's not an option because I don't have it anymore, even though it's right there. My wife also needed a decent tube combo for a new project she's involved with, and she also liked the Vox AC15. And since it was sold out everywhere for months, I let her have it. I got myself a open back 1x12 cabinet with a Celestion V-type speaker in it. So that's one problem solved. In order to keep my attenuator at home, it's more convenient to use my Dr. Z Mass 18, which has a good master volume. The only thing that's still too big is my pedalboard. So I'm going to try to make a smaller version of my main board. But let's just listen to my bass line one more time. Next week I have to play 2 festivals, and at the first one of them we're using a different kind of transportation, which means there is less room for our gear. And at that same show there is a very short changeover time, so I want to bring a small rig that still feels and sounds good and is in line with my usual sound. I'm not going back and forth between my Marshall to exactly replicate the sounds. I'm just going to play around with the amp and a few pedals and see what feels and sounds right. And afterwards I will check how similar or dissimilar both rigs actually are. ended up with is pretty similar to what was on one of those boards already. I really like the King of Tone and I would use it for any normal session gig, but obviously the Dirty Shirley brought me more into that Marshall territory. The Big Muff didn't totally work for me, so I tried the Hot Tubes as a fuzz, but I'm not really sure about that either. I didn't have another phaser to add, so I would have to work around that by using a tremolo, a wah, or both. The rubber neck gave me the slapback and the longer delay sounds I require, and the boost of the Miles 18 works fine. Now let's compare it to my regular setup. They have a similar vibe, but there's a clear difference in sound. The Zilla Cat with the Greenbacks break up more and sound a bit smoother. I would have to dial out some upper mids with the Dirty Shirley pedal to get closer with this cab. Besides that, I might tweak and switch around a few things the upcoming days. But maybe I shouldn't do that, because this really is the kind of thing that you can drive yourself crazy with. I think I might have to watch this video back a few times to find a few different solutions, but so far this at least has been interesting. Have you ever done this before? Let me know in the comments below. I'm trying to reach 1000 subscribers soon so I can keep this channel going. So if you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you next time.